Well, welcome everybody to my YouTube channel, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT. And it is Friday, December 30. Wow, we just have a couple more days. We'll be getting into 2017, the new year. And today I will be grading and doing some work at my website. I just had someone join my course yesterday. I'm sure that he will be sending me some speaking and writing practice tests. So during the video today, I'll just be doing what I normally do. I go into my email, I check my email, I will grade any speaking practice tests that have been sent to me over the last 24 hours, and the independent and integrated writing practice tests that were sent to me over the last day. I will forward those over to my teaching assistant, Mike G., who will read and score those practice tests. Alright, so first of all, let's go into my email address. Let's go to my email here and let's check and see what's going on there first. And don't forget, you guys over at YouTube, if you have a question, and specifically questions about how to prepare for the TOEFL exam, maybe you're on a tight budget, you cannot afford an English language program, and you're doing your TOEFL study on your own, and maybe you have some questions and you might need some assistance here or there, please post any question that you have about the TOEFL exam or about TOEFL preparation, and I will answer that question during this video. Alright, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look . Okay, somebody has a quick question here. Let me go ahead and post this. I'm gonna put this into Microsoft Word here, so I want you guys to be able to see it too. Okay, I think we're good here. Okay, let's go into screen capture here for a minute. Let's see what this person's question is. And anything that I talk about, it will directly relate to the TOEFL exam, right? So I'm not going to waste your time on a lot of irrelevant topics. So this student says, Sir, I'm thinking of subscribing to your program. Okay, let's take a look here, and I'm going to go ahead and make an audio recording to this student too. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for KG, and I'm reading your email right now. You're saying, I'm thinking of subscribing, and I would put here, to your program, but before that, I'd like one suggestion from you for this. I will be really very thankful. I am posting exactly what I spoke in my recorder. Please help me out. How much I will get out of 4 so I will improve myself in future. You say TOEFL speaking practice number 1. You say describe changes in technology that have affected your life and explain what effect they had on you as a student, including details and examples to support your explanation. Alright, so let's read it once first. Let me read it and let's just see how long it takes me to read this. I'll try to read it not too quickly. Okay, here we go. The changes in technology that have affected my life is Skype, chat technology, and it has a very profound effect on my studies and making friends. For example, When I was in grade 10, I wanted to study and exchange my opinion with the other people on a particular subject, so I tried Skype and talked with my friends around the world, and exchanging of this opinion really helped me a lot. Not only in studying, but also in understanding difficult topics which I was not able to understand before using this Skype technology. So Skype technology, which brought live chat between friends, it's really good, which helped me. All right, so that took me about 41 seconds to read, right? And your question is, what would your score be? Now the problem is I'm not hearing you say anything, right? So it's hard for me to give an accurate assessment because I'm not hearing your speaking and your pronunciation, which is 1/3 of your score for these independent speaking tasks. All right, so my best guess right now, if you want to guess, I'm going to put you at about 2.5 out of 5. So based on what I just read, what I looked at, I would put you right now maybe about 19 points out of 30 on TOEFL speaking. That's where I would score this particular task. All righty? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send these comments over to this student. Give me a quick second. So what I did there, I don't normally do this kind of a thing, but because the student there were some language use issues in there, and I have to assume that probably there's also some delivery issues in the response, so I just kind of made a guess. So I would score this probably lower than 20 points out of 30, like I said in the audio that I just gave to this student. Okay, let me go ahead and send this student his comments here. Give me a quick second. Okay, let's go back to video here. That was my first question of the day right there. All right, let's keep going. Let me email this student. All right, so I'm sending these comments over to this particular student. I will go back to my email. We'll see what's going on. Okay, Shrikant, I see your question there. You say, I'm unable to speak clearly on VoxyPop, so could you say out for getting quickly for that discussion? I would just skip it. If you can't find it, just skip that one or just create a new discussion for that. That's fine, you can do that. Sometimes VoxyPop, some of the links don't work exactly, so if you need to create a new discussion thread, you may do that. So no problem. Yeah, I'm lucky to have you as a student too for 2017. Wow. And thank you for your comments at Facebook, by the way. Okay, the next student, let's take a look here. This is a speaking practice test submitted by one of my online students. Let's figure out which one it is here. I think it might be independent speaking task number 2, I'm guessing, but let's see.
I'd like to speak about marriage for this question. I'd like to speak about marriage for this question.
Okay, so let's take a look at that. I'm going to give this student comments here in just a minute here, so let's go to my speaking. Let me make sure I know which one it is. I think it's what is an important event in your life? Explain how it has changed you. Okay, yeah, here it is. So the question the student's answering is this. Choose an event that has meaning for you. Explain how it has changed you. That is the question of the day right there. Now the next thing I want to do, let me go ahead and put the templates in here. I'll put a link over at my YouTube channel under the chat here so you guys can see the rubrics I'm using to grade this speaking practice test. Let me take a look here. Give me a quick second. Okay, got it. Let me put this link over at YouTube too. So here's the link to the speaking rubric. We got it right here. There it is. All right, so let's download this, see what we have. So again, with this question, choose an event that has meaning for you. Explain how it has changed you. Okay, here we go.
I'd like to speak about marriage for this question. Since I got married a couple of years ago, my life has been changed very significantly. Before the marriage, I did not have to take care of others, so I was not in stress to support somebody. But after the marriage, I have to support my family, and last year I've got a son, so additionally I have to make more money and I need to put more effort to support them, so I think that is the most significant changing.
Okay, so now I'm going to listen to it one more time. I'll give this student specific comments here. Hi there, these comments are for Casey, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT, and you just completed my independent speaking practice test number 2. So let's listen to your response.
I'd like to speak about marriage for this question.
You say the word marriage. You're tempted. You're trying to create a third syllable there, so it's not marriagee, but it's just marriage. Marriage. So you're having a little bit of trouble with what's called syllable division. So you're not sure sometimes whether or not you need to create a new syllable within a word. So if you go to my pronunciation section of my course, Casey, check out syllable division and grammatical word endings. That's a good lesson for you, I think, to focus on right now based on that delivery issue.
Since I got married,
now what I would do is try to organize this thing a little bit better so you can use transition words. You say, well, first of all, marriage changed me because, and then when you go to the next point, say, second of all, marriage also changed me because. So you need to connect your ideas together a little bit better than what you're doing.
a couple of years ago, my life has been changed very significantly.
Now notice you're 17 seconds into your response, but you still have not given any specific details, so you're taking too long in your introduction, right? So you need to be much more concise. I recommend about 8 to 10 seconds for the introduction, and then you can move to your first support point. Then you give an example, then you move to your next support point, provide another example. So you need to work on that a little bit. So my tip for you is, I want you to check out my speaking lesson number 2, KC. This will give you some tips and strategies on how to organize, I think, your introduction in a more concise, a more structured manner.
For the marriage, I did not have to take care of others, so I was not.
So I would say first of all, marriage taught me to be more responsible. I think state that as a support point, and then say, well, before my marriage, I wasn't responsible for anybody else, but after my marriage, I'm now responsible for. So maybe that's what I would do there.
I'm stressed to, support somebody, but after the marriage, I have to support my family, and last year I've got a son, so additionally I have to make more money and I need to put more effort to support them, so I think that is the most significant changing.
Okay, so that's probably what I'd recommend, is when you move to that first support point, and by the way, you can just use one reason. Right? So you learn to be more responsible. That's the only thing you want to focus on. You can certainly do that. You don't have to have 2 or 3 reasons. If you have one and then you give sufficient examples to support it, it'll be okay. All right, so how is your score here? Like I said, I think you can make some changes, some good changes with either delivery or topic development, as I said there, right? So I'm going to put you on this one. I'm going to put you around 2.3 out of 4, 18 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to email this student the comments that you guys just heard at YouTube. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, here we go. That's part of the goal when my students do speaking practice. As they complete their independent and integrated speaking practice test, what I need to do is I need to figure out exactly what's happening with their speaking that will cause them to get the score they're getting. For example, in this previous student who posted his response, he needs to work a little bit on his delivery. I think one thing he could do is to improve, as I said, syllable division and grammatical word endings, but with topic development, he needs to work a little bit more on how he organizes his ideas and how he introduces, I think, his topic. So that's something that I think he can work on too. Yes, Mohammed says, could you please tell me what I can do to improve my pronunciation? It's tough. And I'm pretty sure you're one of my students, right? So I would do what you are doing now. Honestly, you need to keep completing those speaking, those pronunciation practice tests. You want to keep doing that, keep getting that feedback. So, Mohammed, for you to improve your pronunciation, you have to think about pronunciation. You have to think about, first of all, mastery of your vowel and your consonant sounds. That's important. So you need to work in my online course on mastering those specific sounds as indicated by the diagnostic pretest. Secondly, you want to focus on improving your pronunciation in the following areas: syllable division, grammatical word endings. You need to work on improving what's called your word stress, your sentence rhythm, your intonation, your thought groups, and blending. So you need to focus on all of those areas in the pronunciation area of my course, and you should be able to make some improvements. Now, here's something I don't know if you thought about, but obviously watching movies, if you can watch 3 or 4 movies a week, that definitely will have a very powerful effect on your pronunciation. So you want to pay attention to how the speakers are actually communicating to each other. Another thing is, how do I explain this one? If you go to YouTube, actually listen to music, put your headphones on, and sing with the speakers. Make sure the music you listen to, you can see the lyrics or the words to the songs on the video. You can practice singing with the speaker. That's another good way to improve your pronunciation. I don't know if you thought about that. Again, using headphones and then singing, and that will really help you with your pacing and also your intonation. So that's definitely a good thing that you can do to improve. So those are some things that do have a very positive effect on your pronunciation, Mohammed. All right? And I think speaking English as much as you can, as often as you can, that's also a good idea. All right? All right, let's keep going. Oh, I got an interesting question here. Yeah, you guys might be interested in this one too. I'm going to put this into my speaking folder too. I'm going to come back and look at this one in just a minute. Give me a quick second. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to... Give me a quick second here. Yeah, I just got a question at Quora.com. I'm going to answer this. This might be a question that some people have also kind of thought about. So let me go in here. They're asking me about whether or not they should use a template when answering TOEFL speaking tasks. Let's take a look at this one. I get this question every now and then. I'm not going to say I get it all the time. Okay, almost ready here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Let's go to screen capture. This is a question I just got in my email right now, so I'm going to take a look at this one just for a minute. So the student says, is it correct to use template in speaking section of the TOEFL test, although ETS forbids it? Right answer. I'm going to say I would discourage it for 2 reasons. I'm going to say no, I would not use a template during the speaking section of the TOEFL. First of all, the IBT human raters, actually I'll just speak it here. The human raters, they will know if you've memorized a certain outline or structure, because a lot of other people will be using exactly the same thing. So if you're using a template, it doesn't really make your, especially your independent speaking response, it doesn't make it really unique or different from anyone else's. It sounds like you're memorizing your response. You see what I'm saying? So the question is, how do you demonstrate what's called automaticity of language use, or how do you demonstrate good control of both basic and advanced grammar if you've memorized a template. A lot of these templates, they restrain and prevent you from showing your full range of English abilities, so I think it's probably not a good idea to use a template during the speaking section of the test. Now the other thing is, I mean, you have to really think about what are you really trying to do here when you're doing the speaking. You're trying to show that you have speaking proficiency. And if you're trying to memorize things and you're doing the same thing for every speaking task, you're not really showing that. So if you really want to improve your English and your speaking, you should focus on being able to be fluent. You should be able to speak spontaneously, more or less, right? You should be comfortable using a wide range of vocabulary and grammar structures, not just one or two things, so it's not really helping you achieve what your long-term goal is. Now, the other thing is, if you go to some of the speaking tasks, I'm going to show you something here for just a minute. I'm going to go over to my website here. I'm going to show you some of the speaking tasks that have appeared on the actual TOEFL exam. And my point is, the template that you use, it may not even work, because the TOEFL likes to give you all kinds of different types of independent type questions. Right? So let's take a look at this for just a minute. Let's see if I can zoom in on it here. Okay, so let's go over to, where are they here? Okay, these topics here, you have additional practice. These speaking tasks actually appeared on the TOEFL exam. So just take a look at a few of these for a minute. So your friend doesn't know what to study. What would you advise him to do? Do you think children should be given cell phones, yes or no? Your friend is nervous because you have a job interview, what would you tell him? How about, what are your strategies when you're busy with a lot of homework and assignments? For example, this one, you can't really say, well, I agree with this for two reasons. And I have a lot of students who will try to answer a lot of speaking topics that way. And a lot of these topics, you can't even do that. You're not able to do that. You have, give two solutions that you think will help you reduce air pollution. How about 27 here? What if you have a memorized template of do you agree or disagree, and you have that kind of template, and then you get this question on the speaking. It says compare two schools you attended, use details in your comparison. So what I'm saying is the template that you've memorized, it might not even match the question that you get on the independent speaking section of the test. So in my opinion, you want to be smarter than that, and the template that you use, it may not even address the speaking task that you get. So you have to be more flexible than that. So that's another reason. If you memorize a template, it may restrain you, and you'll be less flexible when you see new types of speaking topics during the TOEFL exam. And if you're practicing with your English generally, for example, if you're speaking to native speakers on a regular basis, if you're watching a lot of movies, if you're generally working on your English abilities, you'll be a lot more flexible, I think, during the speaking section, no matter what speaking topic you get. So that would be my comments on that. So in my opinion, probably, I'm going to say it's not a good idea to use templates or memorize templates during the TOEFL exam. All right? All right, let's go back to the video. And any of my online students who are watching this particular video today, you guys, if you want some ideas on how you can begin your speaking task, I recommend that you go to my speaking lesson number 2, I will give you some pretty good tips on how you can organize your response to some of the speaking tasks that you will see on the TOEFL IBT exam. But the most important thing you can do is randomly each day pick some of the topics. I have over 300 topics at my website. Pick some of those topics and then practice them, right? That's going to be very, very beneficial to you. So you get practice answering a variety of different types of speaking topics. That way you're more flexible when you take the TOEFL exam. And many of my students have told me a lot of my speaking topics, in one way or another, they actually appear on the TOEFL exam. All right, let's go to my next student. I'm going to listen to another speaking practice test here by Luis. Let's hear how he answered this question, so give me a quick second. Okay, let's go. What do we have here? So, Luis is answering independent speaking practice test number 23. So this question is, what would you like to change about the school system in your country? Okay, let's see how he answers this question. And let me talk to him right now for a minute. Yeah, hi there, Luis, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test number 23. So let me download it. Let's listen to it. All right, here we go.
Even though I consider that education in Mexico,
Hold it.
there are a couple of things that I would love to change in order to make it even better. Even though I consider that education in Mexico is excellent, there are a couple of things that I would love to change in order to make it even better. First, the time we spend in school, and second, the money we pay for education.
Okay, so you got two things.
First of all, in Mexico, we have to spend up to 7 years in university in order to become professionals. For instance, I had to go to the nursing school for 5 years in order to become a professional nurse. While in USA, you can become a nurse in 2 up to 4 years. Second of all, the money we pay for education is too much in order to the money.
Now what you want to do is, when you're saying the money we pay, you need to frame that within the purpose of the speaking. The purpose is, I would also like to change the monetary system that universities use, or I'd like to change the time spent the time we have to spend in order to get our careers. So make sure when you move to each of those support points, you're not just stating facts, but you're stating the change that you would like to make. So don't automatically assume we know what you're talking about. You want to directly connect those 2 points back to the speaking topic.
Mexican earn. For instance, I had to pay over $500 monthly in the nursing school, while I made barely $200 a month. And those are the 2 things that I would love to change in order to improve the education in Mexico.
So you want to change the time spent, you want to lower tuition costs, right? Okay, so overall, let's take a look at the rubrics here. I think I have a pretty good idea how to score this thing. I think overall you did a really good job, more or less, I think, with your topic development. My main suggestion is in the beginning you might say, well, I would like to change the tuition costs and the time spent studying at the universities in Mexico if I could change one thing about the educational system. Then you say, first of all, I'd like to change the time spent, or the time that students have to spend in school in order to get their careers. Then you support that. Then you go, I would also like to change the tuition costs at the university, right? So you want to kind of do it like that, so that way what you're saying, it all goes back to that purpose. You're arguing change, two changes, or one thing you'd like to change about your country. So that's something that you could do, I think, that would improve the topic development. And maybe that would, if you did that, I think it would be a little bit better, but still, I think this is a very good response on your part. So looking at the rubrics, I'm very comfortable putting it in the 3 range. I'm going to put you at about 23 to 24 points out of 30, 3.0 to 3.1 out of 4. So if you did not get a score of 4, a perfect score in this, it might be because of some minor problems with topic development. But overall, it was a good response. All right, Luis? Okay, I'm going to send him his comments now. There we go. So let me go ahead to the email so he can get these comments. So actually Luis has, if you listen to him, he has very good intelligibilities, which means his delivery is strong. He has pretty good control over his language use, which means grammar and vocabulary. Even in the beginning, you notice he started off even though, so he used what's kind of counter argument. He stated the opposite opinion in the dependent clause. Then he stated his opinion in the dependent clause. So he's demonstrating overall pretty good control, I think, over his language use and so on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and email him his results. Now we'll go to my next speaking practice test. Okay, let's take a look here. All right, let's see what else we have here. And welcome everybody at YouTube. If you guys have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can go over to my homepage at YouTube and subscribe. What I'm doing right now, almost every day, I am doing live video at YouTube. I have to score my writing practice tests anyway because my students send them to me every 24 hours. And if you guys have any questions at YouTube, you can certainly ask me any questions that you might have, and I will answer those questions. Okay, let's go back. Let's see what we have here. So he's done, and I entered the question at Quora.com. And I'm going to give you guys a link here. If you guys go over to Quora.com, let me type in the link here. And then type in maybe Michael Buckoff. You can also find me over there. I get questions at Quora.com. People actually ask questions about anything, and they certainly ask a lot of questions about TOEFL. And I take time sometimes to answer questions over there also. If you want to check out my online course, you want to see if it's right for you, you can certainly go over to onlinetoeflcourse.com. And guess what? Think about it for a minute. My course is pretty much obsolete. It will make an English language program obsolete, which means that you can do everything that you need to do to improve your academic English language proficiency. You can do it all at my website, at my online TOEFL course, and you don't even need an English language program. Think about how much money that would save you, because my course is only $45 a month, and English language or intensive language programs, they cost thousands of dollars every semester or every term that they have. All right, so I want to give a congratulations and a welcome to Ivan David. Ivan just joined my online TOEFL course yesterday. If you're watching this YouTube video, welcome to my online course. I'm delighted to have you as a student. And remember, if you have any questions, you can email me, no problem, and start sending me speaking and writing practice tests right away. All right, Ivan? Okay, I'm going to go to my next email here. And if any of my students are watching this YouTube feed, it looks like my teaching assistant has graded, it looks like he graded independent writing practice test number 40 for Marcelo. That one's graded. He also graded the independent writing practice test 2 for Swapna. That one has now been graded. My teaching assistant graded independent writing practice test number 16 for Luis. And that one's done too. And also, my teaching assistant graded independent writing practice test 1 for Basani. Okay, I'm going through my email again. Okay, so Marcelo completed independent writing practice test number 1. I'm going to forward this one over to my teaching assistant, Mike G., who will read and score this today. So I just emailed him that one, so we're done with that. Marcelo, you just sent me, it looks like, integrated speaking practice test number 6, right? So now my job is to do that one right now. I'm going to go ahead and grade this one right now. Okay, before I grade any practice tests, I'm talking to my YouTubers right now. So you guys, I always look at the rubrics. I want to make sure I'm looking at those rubrics specifically so that I can accurately score those practice tests. Okay, here we go. So let me download this one. Okay, let me talk to Marcelo here. Yeah, hi, these comments are from Marcelo, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT, your online TOEFL course, buddy. And you completed integrated speaking practice test number 6. So here we go.
The reading passage explains a problem of nuclear energy, and the listening passage gives an example of that problem. First of all, the reading passage explains that there are problems with nuclear energy because that can be used to build weapons, and it is very difficult to detect all of those weapons because of the high diversity of nuclear material. Furthermore, the lecture explains or gives an example of the problem of nuclear energy. For example, in Ukraine, a reactor exploded and a lot of people died. Some of them were killed instantaneously, and others were killed because they were poisoned. Also, because of the radiation, a lot of people around the radius of the explosion died because of cancer.
Wow, Marcelo, my goodness. Good job on that, buddy. My goodness, that has to be the integrated speaking practice test number 6. This is, without a doubt, the most difficult practice test I have on my website. Nothing compares. The TOEFL will be much easier, trust me, than this one. So you're doing reading, listening, speaking, academic. Wow, that was a great job on that. Let's take a look at it. I think overall, language use, very good control, both your grammar and your vocabulary. How many corrections did I have to make during your speaking response? 0. Nothing. Why? Because you had very good control, both your vocabulary and your grammar. I like your use of the word propensity. Very good vocabulary word. And that word wasn't even in the lecture or the reading passage. You use it as a synonym. My goodness. So I think topic development was also very strong. So in the beginning you stated the purpose of both the reading and the listening passage. Then you talked about the reading passage. And then you talked about the lecture. It was very complete, very accurate. right? You have a bit of a non-native speaker accent, so you have maybe some slight delivery problems, but that's it. Really. Wow. I mean, I didn't notice any major problems with that. So, what do we say here? I'm going to put you at least 26 or higher on this. I think it's possible you could get a score of 4 on this practice test. So this is it. This is what you need to do for the TOEFL exam, for the integrated speaking task. If you can do what you just did, I'm confident you should be able to get a score of 4 on this type of practice test. All right, Marcelo, so very, very good job on that practice test. Did you guys hear that at YouTube? That's it. That's what you need to do right there. And that, you guys don't know because you didn't read the passage or listen to the lecture, but that one was very tough. That was a very conceptually dense content in both the reading and the listening passage, and he was able to explain the information. So he did that wonderfully. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send him my comments here so he can get my feedback. Okay, I'm going to email him the results. And when I'm done doing my grading here and talking to you guys at YouTube, I am going on a 15-kilometer run, and I'm looking outside, and I may not make it before it starts raining. Southern California, we're getting rain. We got rain last week. We got the rain before. It is very, very good. Southern California has been suffering from a drought for many years, at least 4 or 5 years of almost no rain. And this year is looking better by the minute. Hopefully 2017 will bring us even more rain. That is my hope. Let me take a look. Mohammed said, I just posted a speaking practice on VoxyPop. You got it, buddy. I'm going to go listen to it. I'm going to get it done during this video. Let me delete some of these emails. Some of these emails, they're just... Okay, all right, let's go over to VoxyPop. Let's see what's over there. So Mohammed's response, since you're online right now on YouTube, let's go ahead and listen to yours. Let's see how you're doing. Good luck, buddy. And remember that tone. You need to get your tone. Your tone is something that I'd like to see you make some improvements in, no doubt. That's something that we're working on, right? Okay, here we go. I'm going over to my VoxyPop site right now. Okay, we have 2. So pronunciation practice for Mohammed, let's take a look at that. Now remember, Mohammed, for the sake of my sanity, limit your recordings to 60 seconds. As you can imagine, I'm quite busy, and it might not seem like a lot to you, but listening to 30 seconds, takes me maybe 3 or 4 minutes. So it takes me, time to listen to this. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, Okay, I need to find, so you're practicing the F and the V consonant sounds, so we will take a look at how you're doing there. Okay, I'm opening up my course here. Okay, so let's go over to Voxipop. When we listen to the beginning, I need to find this.
Half of the thieves have turned off.
Got it. So we're going to look at what you're doing here. Got it. I found it. Okay, let's say view. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it better. Got it. Okay, now let's actually go to the reading passage, to what you're practicing here so we can see it. Okay, this is where you're at, right? Okay, now I'm going to open up a recording because I want to upload my comments to Voxipop also, so you can see them later if you want. You won't have to go through this whole video here. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, we are ready. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to the beginning here.
Half of the thieves have turned off the faucet that leads to the fine wine.
Not bad on your pausing too. I like how you paused after faucet. So really you should only pause one time here. Half of the thieves have turned off the faucet that leads to the fine wine. That's very good pacing.
The vines and the fans were left in the van and will be banned from further use.
Okay, pretty good.
A few very large fairies are believed to have transported berries and leaves to be used as compost.
Right, I would say they're compost, to be used as compost.
Due to his failure to save his friend from the lifetime of illness, Fred finally figured to let doctors operate, but not to avail.
But to no avail, I would say. So I'd read it like this. I would say, due to his failure to save his friend from a lifetime of illness, Fred finally figured to let the doctors operate, but to no avail. So I would pause after operate, right? Why? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are 6 stress words. That's a pretty long thought group. So pause right after operate and then but to no avail.
It is safe to save veal and waffles until one decides to give waivers to those who feel
To give a waiver to those.
like they don't want to eat it.
All right, let's go back. I want to listen to something.
Save veal and waffles until one decides from the lifetime of illness. Fred finally figured to let doctors operate, but not to avail. It is safe to save veal and waffles.
It is safe to save. Now here's a trick. If the F is at the end of the word, Mohammed, the vowel sound before it should be shorter. If you end it with a V, if you have a V at the end of the word, the vowel which precedes it is longer. So safe, save. So you want to change the duration, I think, of the vowel sound before the V, make it a little bit longer. So just a general tip.
Until one decides to give waivers to those who feel like they don't want to eat it. What is interesting is that...
Okay, let's see where you are here. You're doing the next one here. Okay, I'll give you some feedback on this one too, but remember, keep it around 60 seconds from now on, so respect my time. All right, let's keep going.
Researchers have continued Barrett's experiments with the classical conditioning using other subjects such as people. They discovered humans are conditioned to very similar methods.
Look, too many pauses in there. If you want to pause after discover, because that's before the noun clause, right? They discovered that. So they discovered humans are conditioned to very similar methods. That's where you want to do your pause there.
For example, after a sound was continually combined with eating potato chips.
And I would say when you say potato chips, the tone should be a little higher there, because that's the end of the thought group, but it's not the final thought group in the sentence. So you'd say, for example, after a sound was continually combined with eating potato chips, right? And then you read the rest of the sentence.
College students came to salvage a reaction to the sound alone.
Okay?
Researchers have learned that many different...
No, researchers have learned. You want to pause after learn, because that precedes your noun clause. So say, researchers have learned that many different organisms can be conditioned to respond to practically any stimuli, such as lights, sounds, or tastes.
And organisms can be conditioned to respond to particularly any stimuli such as lights, sounds, or tastes.
All right, not bad. You did okay on that. I like how you're trying to change your intonation after each of those nouns at the end. So that was good. So you can change your intonation when you want to, right? It's possible, but you don't always know when you need to. That's where you're having problems. So as you go through the pronunciation part of my course, eventually you will get to the section on intonation, and during those lessons, that's when you learn when to vary your intonation. You get more familiar with those things. All right, so let's read this one more time together. All right, you ready, Mohammed? Read it with me. We can do this. 3, 2, 1. What is interesting is that researchers have continued Pavlov's experiments with classical conditioning using other subjects such as people. They discovered humans are conditioned to very similar methods. For example, after a sound was continually combined with eating potato chips, college students came to salivate in reaction to the sound alone. Researchers have learned that many different organisms can be conditioned to respond to practically any stimuli, such as lights, sounds, or tastes. And there it is. And that is my feedback to you for your pronunciation practice today, Mohammed. Okay, let me go ahead and end this. I'm gonna upload these comments over to VoxyPop so you can look at them later. So we have that. Okay, let me go back to video now. See what we have here. We got it. Yeah, we're going to get rain. We're getting rain already. Looks like I'm going to miss my run. I'm going to have to run in the rain. But what do you do? Think about this for a minute. I talked about this yesterday at YouTube. There's really 3 things. A lot of people don't think about this, and they don't think about these important things, but you want to make sure you get adequate sleep, good diet, and you exercise regularly. If you do these three things, this will have a really, really dramatic impact, I think, on your TOEFL preparation study, because your body's going to be healthy, your mind's going to be strong, and you will be able to learn what you need to learn faster. You get more out of your TOEFL preparation study if you follow those three tips. How much did you sleep? 8 to 10 hours a day. Have a good diet and exercise regularly. What does regularly mean? In my opinion, at least 5 days a week. Try to get out and work out anywhere from 45 minutes to 60 minutes. That would be perfect, and it will be very, very good for your TOEFL preparation study. Okay, let me go back. I need to do a little bit more grading here. So I'm going back to my VoxyPop discussion group. Okay, this is from one of my online students, Ravender. I'll just say Ravender K, so let me talk to Ravender for a quick minute. Yeah, hi, these comments are for Ravender K, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to listen to your integrated practice test number 17. I'm going to check it out right now. Let's see what we have.
In the lecture, Professor has discussed two important terms related to the world of economics, inflation and deflation, which are linked to the change in price of goods and services over time. First of all, when the price of goods and services increase.
Now, instead of saying which are, I would just use a new sentence. Say, first of all, the professor defines a concept of inflation as being, or whatever, and then give more examples to explain that. So second of all, the professor contrasts that concept with another concept called deflation. In this case, deflation is blah, 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 and so on. So make sure that there's a pause. There's a pause after the introduction. You talk about what the purpose of the lecture is. Then you move to the first important point in the lecture, you explain that. Then you go to the second important point in the lecture and explain that.
It is known as inflation. At that point of time, the money loses its value, and hence more number of units of currency is required to buy the same product. On the other hand, deflation is defined as decrease in...
Now, on the other hand, the professor defines deflation as, so make sure that you put those voice markers in your response several times.
Value of product and services. At that point, the money increases its buying and purchasing value, and hence less number of units.
You might say at that point, according to the professor, the money decreases or increases in value.
Required to buy the same product. To control the inflation and deflation rate, there is an monetary authority or federal resources that controls the inflation and deflation.
Okay. All right, so on this one, I think you can probably do a little bit better job with topic development. So again, more voice markers. Who is saying this? The speaker is saying this. The lecturer is explaining these points. So make sure we know who is saying what, and that will help the organization of your response a little bit better. And it marks it as a summary, which is what you're doing, right? So language use overall, you seem to have pretty good control of your grammar and your vocabulary. Delivery, I think, mostly clear, not too many difficulties there. So I'm going to put you at 3.0 out of 4, or 23 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. So with delivery, if you want to work in an area there, I think you've been a student of mine for quite a while, so I know you're probably very familiar with the pronunciation area in my course, right? So I would check out the intonation area there. You can probably make some improvements, I think, with your intonation. I think that would be helpful. And maybe with your pacing, pausing. So that means you can check out pronunciation lessons of 36 through 40, all which deal with intonation. And to help you